There's a company making $200 million a year that shouldn't even be here. And the fact that they are can teach us all a whole lot about how to build a business, how to do it the right way, how to do it the fun way, how to do it with a bit of controversy if that's your thing. We're going to talk about it all right now. Before we do, I got one thing to ask. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the best business insights and growth playbooks that I am putting out, please share this with a friend. They will thank you. I will thank you. And now let's get to the show. All right. So today we are talking about the Daily Wire. This company built a $200 million a year business that gushes profits. And it is a very controversial company. You'll know it because they are behind the Ben Shapiro show, Matt Walsh, a whole bunch of others. I absolutely love this business. This is not about politics. This is not about anything to do with the content that they put out. This is about the business that they run. I am a huge fan. We're going to talk about that today because I want to make a whole lot of money. I know you want to make a whole lot of money. Let's do that together. So let's rewind back to 2015. Daily Wire is founded by Ben Shapiro and Jeremy Boring. Ben is a conservative commentator with a decent fan base. Jeremy comes from Hollywood, and they're both working in online media at the time back in 2015, and they pitch an idea to their boss. Here's the idea. Let's create a conservative leaning media outlet targeting millennials, and let's promote it like crazy on Facebook. That's it. That's the whole business plan. Let's make conservative leaning content and promote it on Facebook with Facebook ads. Well, sounds like a pretty good idea, right? No. The bosses hate it. They think it's a really bad idea. So bad that they actually fire Jeremy, and then in solidarity with Jeremy, Ben follows suit. He quits. Now they're both out of a job. The Ben-Ami duo are back at square one, and they got to move on to a plan B. All right? So now we're going to talk about what they do next. Now, they don't have jobs. They have a cool idea, but they've also got families and kids and mortgages. So what do? Well, they decide to do it themselves. They raise $4.8 million. All right, in seed funding, and they launch with a single podcast, and that podcast is The Ben Shapiro Show. Now, keep in mind, Ben at this point has written columns, he's written articles. I think he's done a radio show, so he's got, obviously, a presence and an audience. He's also done some controversial interviews at the time. Probably the most famous one is the one with Piers Morgan on CNN. It's a great interview to watch, from great television, very entertaining. And Ben knows how to get attention. And so right away, when he starts making his podcast, he knows that he's going to be able to get attention online by stirring up controversy and then arbitraging the ads on Facebook to get a lot of views and hopefully bring a lot of people in. That's exactly what happens. They throw the videos, the Ben Shapiro Show, up on the internet. They dump dollars into Facebook ads, and it works. Within 18 months, Daily Wire is cash flow positive. It's making money from advertising, but that is just the start. All right. And here's where it gets really good. Let's talk about the business model of the Daily Wire and why they've expanded and how they've expanded in some pretty cool ways. So they've got a strong ads business in place. This is 18 months post-launch, a little after that actually. And Ben and Jeremy are growing nicely. And then things go sideways. In 2022, they get into a feud with an advertiser. Longtime client Harry's Razors pulls its ad because they were getting a lot of pressure from people who felt that the Daily Wire was obviously very controversial, making remarks that were very controversial. So Harry's Razors pulls their ads, and the Daily Wire guys are not happy. Of course they're not happy. There's a longtime advertiser caving, for right or for wrong, to the whims of the crowd, the mob on Twitter. So Jeremy decides to do something pretty epic, pretty amazing, pretty gangsta, pretty balla. He goes ahead and comes out with Jeremy's razors. Because, hey, if you can slap Harry's name on razors, why can't you slap Jeremy's name on razors? Sounds goofy, but also an incredibly lucrative business endeavor. Jeremy creates a ridiculous video that goes viral. You guys can check it out. Within 1 month, Jeremy's razors racks up 50,000 customers, all right, selling both kits, one-time kits, and also subscriptions. So these are not all one-time customers, they're continuity customers, subscriptions. Y'all know how much I love continuity in a business. This is amazing. 50,000 customers, because when times get bad, entrepreneurs figure out how to make lemonade out of lemons. Pretty good for a gag, and I absolutely love the ingenuity of these guys. Controversy sells. We all know that. Speaking of controversy, controversy, Daily Wire has a lot of it, and they've used it to fuel growth, gaining attention from people who agree and gaining even more attention from people who definitely don't agree. When you have lots of haters, you're able to build up even faster. This is something people think I'm being sarcastic about when I say, if you don't have haters, if you have a community and everyone loves you, people don't love you. They're being nice. Maybe your mom and your dad and your sister and your brother and your best client, maybe they like you and they're very vocal about it. Unless you have people saying they don't like what you stand for, it means you're not making a movement. You're not standing for something that's relevant enough. So if you love Daily Wire or you hate Daily Wire, that's good for Daily Wire. The worst thing is when people are neutral. Gotta have lovers, gotta have haters. On top of ads and a D2C business, Daily Wire has about 900,000 paid subscribers to its streaming service. And this is amazing, guys. That streaming service, you can get a subscription for $9, $12, and I think $15 or $16 is the high end. 900,000 paid subscribers on a service paying 10 to 15 bucks a month. That is not bad at all. And that is very secure revenue. It's probably about 40 or 50% of all the revenue they make, which is recurring, safe, secure revenue. It's amazing. These guys built a media giant on the back of a single podcast. And that's probably the most important business takeaway of all. In a crowded category like media, you need to have a wedge. There's so many examples of crowded categories that entrepreneurs get into, and they want to go in with a huge product, a bloated product. You don't need that. You need a wedge product. Think about it like a doorstop. You don't have a giant physical item holding the door open. If you do that, it has to be a really heavy item, heavier than the door. But if you put a little wooden doorstop at the bottom of the door, that holds the door really well. Why? Because it's a wedge. You get right in there. Your product has to be a wedge. Think about it like a doorstop, something small but powerful that you can be known for, that fans can get behind. Build a name and a reputation, and from there, you can expand the market. Land and expand. That's exactly what Daily Wire did. The Ben Shapiro Show was totally unique when it launched, and it's still a top 10 podcast. Daily Wire also crushes it across social media. They combine audience arbitrage with polarizing content. You either love it or you hate it. Either way, you can learn a lot from how they do it. I want to zoom in on 4 things these guys did really, really well, and they still do really well. Let's go back all the way to the beginning, back to 2015. Why was this business so smart? What was so smart about it? Well, it seems obvious now, but there was a very particular part of the market that was not being served back in 2015. The conservative media landscape was dominated back then by Fox News and AM talk radio. That's where conservatives got their news. But let's face it, the kind of conservatives I'm talking about are 60-plus-year-old people. So who was serving the 20-year-olds, the 25-year-olds, the 30-year-olds? Who was serving them? Were they tuning into Fox News? No, their granddaddy was tuning into Fox News. So where were they getting their information? Well, Ben Shapiro was working in that space, writing a column, working on websites that targeted conservatives. Again, still a bit older, but at least they were websites. And also, he was doing talks on college campuses. So he saw this audience. He had an unfair advantage because he was there looking at this audience. And then he was able to say, hey, can we connect these dots? Can we create something in a place where these people actually want to watch it from a messenger that people actually want to watch it from him, and put it out there in a place they're actually going to get it? Facebook back in the day. These days, it's YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, podcasts, it's everywhere. But understanding that one market that you might think has an offering that serves them, but it doesn't. They were being totally underserved. Audience arbitrage, traffic arbitrage, advertising arbitrage. That's the second point that I want to talk about. Facebook ads. Again, seems so obvious in retrospect. Facebook ads were underpriced back in 2015. So Ben Shapiro was able to go in, and the Daily Wire team were able to go in. They poured, I think they said about $3.5 or $4 million over that first 18 months. They had cash left over from their $4.8 million seed fundraising, and they've been cash flow positive ever since. So it took them less than $5 million, probably less than $4 million, to build a business that now grosses $200 million, probably valued at about $1 billion, $900 million business. That's not too bad. Third point I want to dig into is a smart business model. So smart. Think about this, guys. They've got advertising and sponsorship, and they've got a lot of performance marketing. If you ever watch Daily Wire, they've got a lot of advertisers that I'm sure perform well because they stay there over and over again. They got into D2C, direct-to-consumer consumer with subscription streaming. Daily Wire Plus, 900,000 subscribers. They're getting into movies and other types of things. They got books. And of course, they have D2C with Jeremy's Razors. I actually have no idea. Maybe they're doing other D2C products. Maybe it's a real business that's actually making money that they can actually grow. I don't see why not. The last thing I love about this business, if you know me, you know I love juicy profit margins. Ooh, I can feel the juice. All juice, no pulp, my favorite kind of profit margins. We're talking about profit margins here because think about the cost of creating their products. Basically, most of the stuff they make is content in a studio with somebody talking into a microphone, kind of like I'm doing right now. This is not particularly expensive stuff. Yes, it costs some money because you need nice lighting, you need monitors, you need cameras, microphones. Yeah, you need those kinds of things, which are fixed costs. But at the end of the day, if you can get 1,000 people watching or 10,000 or 100,000 or a million, 10, 20 million, your costs don't go up. So it's all juice. It's all profit. Profitable business model, smart business model, smart way of making money, continuity in your business, a wedge product, audience arbitrage. I absolutely love all the things that Daily Wire is doing to build their business and grow their business. Is it controversial? You bet it is. A lot of people that love it, a lot of people that hate it, but it is a business that we can learn a lot from. Let me know what you guys think. Get me at johndavids.com. While you're there, get me on my newsletter. Follow me across social, and I will talk to you guys next time.